Good afternoon. I wanted to get on here and do a little video about why I created the Relational Regulation Institute because I've had some questions. A few years ago, I was acting like I was okay while inside I was struggling to regulate and understand my emotions. Learning emotional awareness and being able to communicate in my relationship lifted a huge weight off my shoulders I didn't realize I was even carrying. That experience is why I wrote my book, Smiling While Breaking, and created the Relational Regulation Institute. Many women feel emotionally overwhelmed in relationships and don't understand why. In this video, I explain the pattern and how emotional regulation changes that pattern. I want to start by going over some of the comments I have received. I think I'm just too emotional. A lot of women think that they're too emotional, and that's why they can't explain how they feel to their partner. What's actually happening most of the time is emotions arising without knowing the skills to regulate them. When emotions rise quickly, it can feel overwhelming. Emotional regulation is a skill. It's not a personality trait. Another comment, I always overthink everything. This is an extremely common comment. Overthinking in relationships usually isn't the real problem. Overthinking is often the mind trying to regain control when emotions feel unstable. When emotional regulation improves, the mind doesn't need to constantly analyze the relationship. Stability inside changes how you experience the relationship. Another comment, I always end up withdrawing. Many women withdraw in relationships because they don't know how to express what they're feeling. When emotions feel overwhelming, withdrawal can feel safer than communication. But emotional regulation creates the ability to stay focused and communicate clearly. That's a skill most people were never taught. Some of the common questions I have received: what if my partner refuses to change? Emotional regulation gives you the ability to stay focused, communicate clearly, and see the relationship more accurately. Then you are able to make much clearer decisions about what is wanted and needed in the relationship. Another question, so this is just telling women to leave their partner? Not at all. This work is about helping women develop emotional regulation so they can stay calm, communicate clearly, and understand what's actually happening in the relationship. When someone is emotionally regulated, they can respond thoughtfully instead of reacting from fear or anxiety. Another question: why should I change if I'm not the problem? Emotional regulation isn't about taking responsibility for someone else's behavior. It's about developing the stability to respond clearly and communicate what you're experiencing and feeling. That clarity often changes the dynamic of the relationship. This is one of the most common questions that women ask. What good will emotional regulation do if the other person isn't willing to change? Regulating your emotions changes how you respond, how you communicate, how you see the relationship. Emotional regulation isn't about controlling the other person. It's about learning how to stay calm and clear even when the relationship is difficult. When you regulate your emotional responses, 3 things change. You communicate differently. You stop reacting from anxiety or fear. You gain clarity about what the relationship actually is. Emotional regulation gives you power and clarity even when the other person doesn't change. What we tend to do is there's a moment in many relationships where we quietly start abandoning ourselves, meaning rejecting, suppressing, ignoring our own needs, emotions, desires, and boundaries, usually to prioritize others or maintain safety. It usually doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments. When you stop saying what you really feel, when you minimize something that hurt you, when you keep the peace instead of being honest. Over time, those moments create emotional instability inside the relationship. Emotional regulation is what allows you to stay connected without abandoning yourself. So I'm curious, when do you feel like you start abandoning yourself in your relationships? And also, what do you feel is the common stress factor in your relationship? You don't have to answer in the comments. You can message me. I have been asked, is this therapy? No, it is not. Is it group or one-on-one? It can be either. If you're wondering whether the Relational Regulation Institute would help your relationship situation, you're welcome to message me. I'm happy to talk with you. Sometimes one conversation is all it takes to bring clarity. What I teach is a 6-week live online training with me. In the first week of the training, you will learn how to recognize the emotional triggers that cause overthinking, withdrawal, and relationship anxiety. In week 1, emotional awareness. Week 2, nervous system regulation. Week 3, communication on skills. Week 4, boundaries. Week 5, handling rejection. Week 6, relational clarity. Plus, weekly live online session with me, real life relationship application, small group or one-on-one learning environment. So this training will help women that feel emotionally overwhelmed in relationships, struggle with overthinking or anxiety when communication changes, withdraw instead of expressing what they feel, learn how to regulate emotions and communicate calmly. After the 6-week relational regulation training, you will be able to recognize emotional triggers before they escalate, regulate overwhelming emotions in relationships, communicate what you're feeling clearly and calmly, maintain boundaries without shutting down, stop abandoning yourself to keep the peace, experience more emotional stability in relationships. So if this is something that may resonate with you, send me a message.